Hello and welcome to this NDTV special. He's been the blunt-speaking, fired-up motivator of a fired-up Indian team, a key partner in its roller coaster journey. Ravi Shastri joins me as he gets ready to hang up his boots as head coach of Team India and gets ready for a new innings. Thanks very much indeed, Ravi. What a ride it's been. Has it sunk in yet? Or still?
The penny is soon dropping.
Okay. The penny is soon dropping. But Ravi, listen, a lot of people are still figuring this out because you've had such an amazing run. You don't look like you're ready to put your guns back in the holster yet. What made you decide to step away? Like, would you have liked to keep going? Was it the board that wanted to change, have a change of strike, or what?
The guns will never go into the holster because I come from the west of India, right?
That's right.
So, but there's a time, Srini, for a time and place for everything, right? You should know when your sell-by date is up. 7 years is a long time to be judged,
right?
To be sitting there and being judged with guns pointing in my direction, and you go through public scrutiny. If I was 10 years younger, maybe I would have done it 2 years longer. But the time is up, and my mind was very clear in England itself that once this term is over, I will go irrespective of what happens in the T20 World Cup or whatever.
No, that's an important point you make because, on the outside, we don't get a sense of the kind of pressure and scrutiny you guys go through on a almost daily second-to-second basis. But listen, we all saw that farewell speech you made. It's gone viral in the dressing room where you said, and this is interesting, unpack this for us because you said this is one of the greatest teams, or this is, a team that's going to be counted as amongst the greatest teams that's played the game of cricket. Though this came right after we lost, or we couldn't make it into the finals of the T20 World Championships. So how do you square off both those things?
I mean, that's not important. I mean, even Bradman got out for 0 in his last innings. You remember that?
Sure.
And he averaged 99.96. So if he had got 4, it would have been 100.
Right.
So, no one wants to be perfect. But to be judged when you won almost 70% of the matches that in your tenure as a coach, that's job satisfying. And it's not a job that you're doing for an under 15 or an under 19 team. For God's sake, it's an Indian cricket team. So you look for consistency, you look for achievements overseas, you look for total domination at home, and you look at 3 formats of the game. Most importantly, you look at the kind of cricket, the quality of cricket, and the character shown by the boys when they are down. When the chips are down, how you wake up. Is what defines any sporting team. So when I look and take everything into perspective, that's why I said what I said in that little talk I had with the team in the dressing room.
That you believe that they are amongst the greatest to have played.
I'm saying one of the great teams in the history of the game.
Right. Because
when you go across continents and you go across the globe and have that kind of consistency across all formats, you got to go back in time to find which team has done it over a span of 5 years. And you can count on the West Indies of the 80s. You can probably count Australia in definitely. At the turn of the century, and then this Indian cricket team.
Sure. So what do you think then happened with with the World Cup? What was going on there? Was it just the team was? I saw you saying this in other interviews. Was it just that the team was fatigued, too much time in the bubble?
No excuses. Srini, I don't give excuses. Right. We weren't just up to scratch. Pakistan was a good game. They played better than us. They beat us. New Zealand, like I've said in all the other ones, that we could have shown a little more daring, a little more spunk, and got out there a little more aggressive, in our mindsets and action-wise. And when you're behind the 8 ball in T20 cricket, first 2 games you pull out, no matter how good you are in the next 3, it's not going to make a difference. Right. You need someone else then to really fail for you to qualify. And we don't like to qualify in that fashion. You either qualify clean and win it, or don't qualify. So we didn't qualify, so no excuses whatsoever. We are out of that competition.
Fair enough. I did want to ask you though, because there was all that after the match with Pakistan, there was all that terrible backlash, particularly against Shami. Was that preying on the mind of the team in any way? Or
no one had. I don't read. So I heard about it later, and that was ridiculous. Mohammed Shami for me has been a champion, right? He has been one of the real integral part of this team over the last 5 years. If we have won anything overseas, we've won in India. Shami with Ishan, Jasprit, Umesh, they've been absolutely fabulous. And to single one guy out for a game, it's like tomorrow, it's like someone saying that, Pakistan lost the semi-final because, someone dropped a catch, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's team sport. It happens. So one message we had in our team right from the beginning: you win as one and you go down as all, right? So there's no finger pointing. There's never been finger pointing in my dressing room.
No.
So it's loud and clear, the message that it was ridiculous. What I read about it later.
Yeah.
But it was, and I thought Virat was brilliant in that press conference when he stood up for Shami and spoke the way he did. Hats off to him.
No, that was a fantastic comment and statement. Did Virat discuss that with you, or he just came out of it straight off the bat?
Yeah, straight off the bat. Yeah.
That was amazing. But what was really terrible, Ravi, is that as journalists and as sports people, we've seen sticks and stones, right? We've seen how frequent that is. But just for standing up for Shami and saying, very important, courageous things, Virat faced a huge backlash as well. All that terrible stuff about his kid and all of that. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I don't read. I only post, Srini.
Right.
I don't know what stroll, polls. I don't know anything about that. I just post if I have to post. Okay. And different breed I might be, but so I don't get into all that stuff where then you build agendas, you have a mindset that is different.
Yeah.
For me, I just keep it simple. Less the better at times.
That's also sensible, especially these days because of all the noise around you. But tell me about Virat, because you have such a special relationship with him for all these years. What's the change you've seen in Virat about his own journey? What's the one or two big, like the transformation that you've seen of him as a player?
I think his mindset to be the best in the world, to be the best in the world. What are the sacrifices you got to make? What are the standards you have to set when it comes to fitness? What are the things you've got to do to be competitive and be the best in the world? And he's addressed all that because the standards he's set as a professional, when it comes to work ethics, fitness-wise, performances-wise, passion-wise for the game, you've got to have passion to do all those kind of things.
Sure.
The sacrifice doesn't come easy unless you're passionate about the sport. And he's done all that. So, for me, that was the significant change when he decided that this is his life. I want to be the best cricketer in the world. This is what it takes to become the best cricketer in the world, whether it's diet, whether it's fitness, whether it's the way you train. When you get all those qualities imbibed in, then the performances will come. So it's there for everybody to see.
What is it about Virat and you that just clicked, like that incredible connection?
I think it's mindset. More than anything, it's mindset, because I'm pretty aggressive. When it comes to mindset. You might not have been the most aggressive cricketer when you played the game, but the way I think about the game, I want to win. As simple as that. I want to compete against the best in the world, no shortcuts.
Right.
And beat them in their own day, if possible. So, and he bought into it. He was right there. And in fact, one of the great ambassadors for Test match cricket over the last 5 years.
Yes. Those are Virat's strengths. I want to ask you about where you think, I don't want to use the word weakness, but where you think is an area where you feel like that's an area which Virat is still exposed or vulnerable, where, which needs...
No, he's exposed to you guys. Shini, he's exposed to
Don't blame
you
us.
fellows. And my only advice with me to him would be to shut your ears, and sometimes just wear your glasses and see what you see on the cricket field. That'll be my advice to him. Listen less, read less.
Right.
And you'll be a king. You'll be King Kong for another 5-6 years, because he's only 33. And with his fitness standards, he'll play for 5-6 years easy. But read less.
Right. Okay.
Sunnah kam.
Okay. But tell me, Ravi, because this is now the big question in everyone's mind, right? Like, you are sort of bowing out. Virat is stepping back in different formats. What do you make of what's going on with Virat? You think you think that this was the right time for him to slowly phase out of different tiers of leadership?
I think so. I definitely think so, because in these times of COVID, which is unprecedented since the Second World War, I don't think one individual can be on the road for the amount of time the Indian team is on the road. I think you need to be able to take a break. Not just Virat, everyone in the team at some time will need a break, because they are human. And it's for their own good. And I hope they realize that, to have the guts to get up and say, I want a break. And not be insecure whether their position will be taken over by somebody else or not.
Right.
It is in the mind to say, I need a break, then go back and give yourself time, train hard, and come back. The game will welcome you back. And it's no disrespect, and it should not be treated as this guy doesn't want to play for the country or things of that sort. Empathy should be shown to the individual who wants to take a break in these times. Because, like I mentioned before, very easy to sit in an air-conditioned room and point fingers at someone else who's in a bio bubble or who's going through quarantine, and then you expect him to perform at 200%.
Yeah.
Cannot happen.
So fair.
You must respect that. People must respect it.
So we're already seeing, but he's still very much the captain of the red ball and the white ball formats of one day and test. But he has been rested for at least the first match against New Zealand, the first test match. Now, again, Ravi, what do you make of that? Because you know how it is, all the chatter and the analysis, but you would have an inside perspective. So let me just finish the question. Is that by his own choice, or is that the board giving him a nudge to say, listen, you need that timeout? Where is that coming from?
It's his own choice. So let's get that clear. There's no one giving him a nudge. Okay?
Okay.
So let's get that very clear. It's his choice. And he needs that break. And I believe he'll come out, twice the player he is after that break. Just this, because, when you're mentally fried up for 2 years, like these guys have gone home for 25 days in 24 months. They've been in a bio bubble for almost 6 months now.
Right.
Okay, England, there was a little bit of freedom, but still. But when you're mentally fried up, you need a break. I don't care who the individual is.
Sure.
Yeah, his name could be Bradman as well. He needs a break. So I think he'll come out much better. I think he'll come out much better with the break. He'll be a lot calmer.
Right.
And, I think, what happens, Shrini, is when you're mentally fried up, the concentration levels cannot be the same.
Sure.
Especially when the pressure or the heat is on. And it's for any individual. So I think the break will help him a lot.
Right.
And this was no one nudging him.
That's an important clarification. That's an important clarification.
No one nudging him. Let's be very clear on that fact.
Right. Okay. No, that's great to hear that clarification. It's all his decision. It's not coming from the board or anything like that. Okay. But I do want to ask you though, Ravi, because you've made this point again and again about the fact that the team does have a very, very hard schedule, and people are, as you said, going to burn out. The human beings. But who is accountable for that? I mean, at the end of the day, the scheduling is done by the board, by the people on top. Shouldn't they, I mean, isn't that something they need to take into account?
See, you have to strike the right balance, okay? Cricket is an industry. It's not a small time industry, it's a massive industry. Okay, you want the game to go on. So then you have to strike the balance. If you want that much of quantity, and yet at the same time want quality, then get a bigger pool of players and rest the players. I mean, that's fine. Then you play as much as you want, because at the end of the day, you've got to fill your coffers as well. And get the revenue out of a sport that is that popular and cash rich. Yet at the same time, then you've got to have, and you're a country of 1.4 billion. You have a pool.
Sure.
So how you place cricketers in different formats, if you want to excel in all formats, how you keep them fresh for the really big events like the ICC events, is then the balance you got to strike.
But because we have the IPL as well, which also puts a load on players, especially Indian players. But Saurav Ganguly, board president, he's a fellow cricketer. Like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have a good, like, your friends, or have you had these conversations with him about, hey, listen, this is taking a toll on players?
Unfortunately, I've been in a bubble, Srini, for 2 years.
Right.
I can't get out of the bubble.
No, but there are many ways of communicating these days. So
No, I know that, but when there is a schedule that's laid out, and everything is important.
Yeah.
I think the IPL is extremely important. Right? I don't care what people think. IPL is the cash cow for your other formats to survive. So
Right.
Let's be very clear here. You've got to get that in place, and then earn the bucks, get it into the coffers, and then spread it around the different formats of the game at grassroots level, at domestic cricket level,
right,
to keep the game alive.
Okay.
Very, very important.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk a little bit about Rohit, because we talk so much about Virat, but the fact is that Rohit is now slowly stepping, to the forefront. Tell me about Rohit and what are his strong points? What's the journey you've seen of Rohit?
See, when it comes to natural talent, sheer ability, there are very few players like him. It comes easily to him. But what's good to see is the mindset of Rohit Sharma changing and wanting to play the toughest format of the game. And I mean, I've said that on record. I would have thought myself a failure as a coach if I didn't make Rohit Sharma play Test cricket to the way he's playing at the moment. So my challenge was to take the biggest decision and make him open the innings. But I had a chat with Virat. I said, throw him into the deep end. Probably that could be the best thing that's happened. And I told this to Rohit way back in 2015 when I had a chat with him. I said, start opening for Mumbai, to really know who you are. And it'll give you more job satisfaction than anything else you've done in your life. You might have got all those 200s, but go and ask him about that 100 at the Oval.
Yeah.
He will say that is one of my best ever innings, and it's given me more satisfaction than anything else, and to go on to win. I know how disappointed he was when he got out for 81 at Lord's. He was batting like a bomb and could have got 100 there as well.
Right.
So, sometimes in life, you got to throw yourself into the deep end. Where you're in 10 feet water, where your feet are not touching the ground, and learn how to swim.
Sure.
And
but
he's done that, and that will give him immense satisfaction. So that's the change, for me, the biggest change I've seen in Rohit. Apart from him being when it comes to captaincy, he's taking over white ball cricket. He's done everything in the 2020 game. 4 or 5 IPLs. He's been part of a winning team that won the Asia Cup and another tournament for India. So he's got all those qualities. But for me, the defining moment and the change in Rohit Sharma, since you asked me, was mindset to play red ball.
Yes.
And play it properly.
You're right. That was a huge jump, and kudos to you and the others who thought of that. But Rohit as captain, you see in him those leadership qualities that he can fill Virat's boots, because those are big boots to fill.
Yeah, big boots to fill, but Virat needs a break, and Rohit's the right guy for T20 cricket. It's like MS, you know. MS has won so many titles for CSK, for India. He's won every ICC tournament. Rohit has the potential, you know, to do all that in the future. He's still young, you know, and he's got all the records that make him an automatic choice in white ball cricket.
Okay. Rahul Dravid, again, you know, everyone's been talking about this. It's like sort of yin and yang, because you have a very kind of aggressive, fired up approach, and Dravid is like the Zen monk. So, is that?
No. Don't mistake Rahul to be a monk.
Okay.
You know, nobody is a monk in India. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Deep inside, he's fired up,
Okay.
and he'll do the job. Yeah, I'll be a monk now. You know? Or I try and behave like a monk.
Well, I don't believe that.
Yeah, because I've been fired up enough for the last 4 decades. Now let me do some aram.
I can't imagine you ever being a monk unless you're a monk in a Ferrari, like that famous book. But no. But listen, I want to end by asking you. I saw your interview, I think, with Rajdeep. You said where you headed, and you held up your hand. You said 5 different fingers. Yeah, 5 going in 5 directions. But I'm not letting you get away with that. I need something a little more. Give me at least.
No, because
so everyone's talking about IPL. You're going to coach. I mean, you're going to mentor an IPL.
IPL. If I get the opportunity, I'll definitely do it. There's no two ways. I'm not, I mean, if I get an opportunity, it'll be a great experience. It's something different.
Okay.
Something I've not tried. I relish challenges. I'll go in that direction for sure.
Okay.
But the sporting fraternity, since I left the game and then went into broadcasting for 23 years, has opened up, that massively digitally.
Yes.
You've got all platforms that are on place where 5 fingers cannot fill. You might need 10, but I'm good enough with 5.
Okay.
But it'll be all in the sporting sphere.
Okay.
It'll be everything connected to cricket, because I'm today what I am because of the game.
Sure.
And many ways the BCCI, because I've been connected with them for all the 40 years that I've been part of the sport, because they are the custodians of the sport in India.
Of course.
And you've been part of it. But like I said, it's exciting times. The way the media space is exploding, and I think I fit in there. Somewhere in a lot of those areas, I fit in.
Oh, I'm sure.
Perfectly.
You were amazing when you were in the box. I mean, and then I don't know how many young people remember Shaz and Waz.
Oh, he's my buddy. He's my buddy, bro.
You guys are great. But listen, Ravi, thank you so much for doing this, and it's been a pleasure, and all the very best with whatever you do. I'm sure you'll hit it out of the park. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Rini, and thanks to see you interviewing a sportsman for a change, not just the political stuff.
I know.
Thank you.
What a relief. Thank you, brother.